Good morning. Today we're covering section 3.2. We're solving linear systems of equations by combinations. If you guys remember, last time we met, we solved equations by substitution. And notice that the problems look exactly the same. The only thing that we're going to be doing by a combination, because if we look for a variable that's by itself, there's no x or y with a coefficient of 1. So we can still solve it by substitution, but then we're going to end up with a lot of fractions as we go through the process. Let's go and start with example number 1. Now, another thing that we can try to solve it by graphing. But if we solve by graphing, it might give us a fraction, so it'll be hard to be able to identify exactly the point of intersection. So we're going to do algebraically by combination, because there's no x by itself or y by itself. Now, our purpose is to be able to eliminate or cancel one variable when we add or combine both equations. So if you notice, if I go and add both equations, what cancels? Correct, the x's cancel. So positive 8y minus 5y will give me 3y. Negative 26 plus 8 will give me negative 18. Then I just solve for y, so I'm going to divide by 3. The y's cancel, so y is equal to negative 6. Remember, we're looking for the intersection of both lines. So that will be a point. The y is negative 6, we're looking for the x. Now we're going to substitute. Now that we found the y, we can substitute this value into either one of those two y's and find the value of x. I usually select the one that has smaller numbers. So I'm going to select the second one. That'll be 4x minus 5y is equal to 8. But instead of the y, I'm going to replace it with a negative 6. That'll be 4x minus 5y is equal to 8. So instead of the y, I replace it with a negative 6. Notice that there's no more y here. The y got replaced. Now I'm going to simplify and solve for x. So negative and negative gives me a positive. That'll give me positive 30. And that's equal to 8. I'm now going to move this to the right hand side or subtract 30 on both sides. So 4x is equal to negative 22. And then I'm going to divide by 4. So I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. The 4's cancel. And I'm just going to reduce 22 that's not going to 4, or 4 that's not going even into 2. I'm going to divide by 2, so it gives me negative 11 over 2. Let's continue with example number 2. Now in example number 2, we need to be able to cancel the x's or we need to cancel the y's. If you notice, nothing cancels at this point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply the top equation or the bottom equation by a number. In order for them to cancel, they need to have the same number and different signs. One of them has to be positive, the other one negative. So if I multiply this one by 2, they already have different signs, so I don't need to multiply by a negative number to change the sign. So just by 2, so that'll become a positive 6, and that will cancel out. And I need to multiply both sides. That means every single term. So let's go ahead and rewrite it. So 2 times 3x will give us 6x. 2 times 2y will give us a positive 4y. 2 times 6 will give us 12. Many of you guys will forget to multiply the last number. The bottom one will stay the same. And now, if we add them, the x's cancel because they have the same number and different signs. So we have 4 minus 3 will give us 1y, or just y. Y is equal to 6. So we found the x value to be 6. Now we need to be able to find the x value. So to find the x value, we can just do the same thing that we did above. We can substitute. we can substitute the value of y into either one of those two equations. If you want, you can substitute it here, but that will just give you larger numbers. I usually select the one that has smaller numbers, so I'm going to go and substitute it into the first equation. So 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. But instead of that y, I'm going to replace it with a 6. I'm going to solve for x. I'm going to multiply, so it gives me 3x plus 12 is equal to 6. I'm going to move my 12 to the right, becomes a negative 12. So it gives me 3x is equal to negative 6. Then the last step to solve for x will be to divide by 3. And that will give me the value of x, which is negative 2. Remember, our solution will be the intersection of both lines. So in this case, is negative 2 and 6. Notice that this process is much shorter than the substitution. So if you probably have a choice, you probably want to be able to do combination. On the test, you have to do both, combination and substitution. For example number 3, we need to be able to cancel the x's or the y's. So we need to be able to make them the same number and different signs. If you notice, nothing cancels here. Basically have to multiply, I believe, both equations. I'm going to cancel the y's because they already have different signs. Or let's see, I'm going to cancel the x. I'm going to multiply this one by negative 2 and this one by 3. And that will give me smaller numbers. So negative 2 times 3x will be negative 6x. Negative 2 times 4y is negative 8y. Negative 2 times negative is a positive 12. Notice that by multiplying this one by 3, that will give me a positive 6, so that will cancel. 3 times 2x will give me 6x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15y. 3 times 19 will be 30, 57. And you can just multiply on the side. That will cancel, so that gives me negative 23y is equal to 69. Remember, the reason they cancel is because they have the same number and different signs. And in order for them to cancel, we have to multiply both equations. There are times that you can just multiply the top or the bottom for them to cancel. There are times that we need to multiply both. Our last step is to divide by negative 23. That will cancel. So we have y is equal to negative 3. We found our y value. Now we need to find our x value. So we are going to substitute. We're going to substitute the value of y into either one of them. Because of the 19, I'm going to use the one on top because they are smaller numbers. You can use the one on the bottom if you want, and you will get exactly the same value. So instead of the y will be a negative 3. I'm going to simplify, so it gives me 3x minus 12 is equal to negative 6. I'm going to go and move my 12 to the right. That's going to become a positive. So it gives me 3x is equal to negative 6 plus 12. That will give me positive 6. I'm going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. That will give me x is equal to positive 2. So my intersection, my solution, will be 2 comma negative 3. Let's continue with the back, the next example. Go and try, see what you get, and then we can compare answers. Go and pause it. Try example number 4. Great. So we want to be able to, if you notice, all the x's and y's are on one side, the numbers on the other side. So we want to be able to solve for x and y. We want to cancel for x and y. We want to cancel the x's or the y's. And we're going to multiply, in this case, the top by 2. So that will give me 2 times x will give me 2x. 2 times 3y will give me 6y. 2 times 2 will give me 4. the bottom one will stay the same. And now the x's cancel, but notice that the y's also cancel, and in this case also the numbers. So on the left hand side we have 0, on the right hand side we have 0. Same as the last lesson that we covered. Is this true or false? This is true. So that means that we have infinitely many solutions, or they're the same line. Let's continue. Remember, if you get false, that means that there will be, and let's write that down on the left hand side. If it's false, you have no solution, and the lines are parallel. So in case you get 0 is equal to 5, that'll be false, and that'll be that no solution, lines are parallel. Let's continue with example number 5. Same word problems that we covered before. In a day, a music store sold 25 CDs. So let's go and highlight the keywords, the information that they give us. So you can use a highlighter or use a red pen to circle. We have, they sold 25 CDs for a total of 255. New CDs are sold for $12 each, and old ones are $9 each. How many CDs did they sell? How many old CDs did they sell? Remember, you can think about money, money, money. So if they sold 10 CDs for $12, it'll be 10 times 12. So we don't know how many new CDs, so it'll be N, 12N, it'll be $12 for every new CD, plus $9 for every old CD. And that's going to give you the amount, the amount total. On the bottom will be the number of new CDs plus the number of old CDs is equal to, how many CDs did they sell? 25. Now we can solve it by combination. We want to be able to cancel the n's on the or the o's. Let's see, it will be easier to multiply the bottom one by -9 or by -12 if you choose. I prefer using smaller numbers, so I'm going to multiply by -4. So on the top stays the same. Remember that's it. Oh, not 990, be careful. The bottom one will be multiplied by -9. 9 times 25 will give us multiply on the side. It's going to be 45. Carry 4, 18, 22. So that's 225. Negative. That will cancel. That gives me 3n is equal to 30. I'm going to divide by 3. So n is equal to 10. Now it's asking, this is n stands for new CDs. It's asking me for how many old CDs. So we need to be able to solve for O. We need to plug this into either one of those equations, and I'm going to plug it into the second one. We have n plus O is equal to 25, but instead of the n will be 10, so n 10 plus O is equal to 25. That's a not 9, 0. Move this to the right, becomes a -10. So old is equal to 15. So 15 old CDs. Please email me if you have any questions. Have a great day, and thank you so much.